So it's August 23rd. September's almost here. Not exactly sure where I'm saying that.
Summer's almost over.
Yeah, it is.
It went by really fast.
It did. It was like when it was raining. That seemed like a long time ago now.
Yeah, it's kind of an okay summer this
Yeah,
year.
at the box office, pretty bad one. I mean, it kind of ended when Mad Max did.
Yeah, I mean, as far as quality, like, yeah, just not the. It wasn't last summer. Let me put it that
I'm
way.
sure next summer is going to be a whole other thing, though. Who knows?
No,
We're not experts.
what have we got? Captain America.
Yeah, I mean,
As far as
we have
summer,
already
that's pretty much it.
we've already said that summer starts in March.
Oh, come on, dude.
It does.
It's
It does next year.
yeah, that's bullshit.
It's going to start in March.
Yeah, well, I don't care.
It's like there's all these.
I'm really just kind of I feel a blockbuster burnout now. Like we're getting one every single month of the year. It's just kind of getting insane.
Well, get ready for this then. NBC is working on a workplace comedy, kind of like The Office, called Powerless, that takes place in the DC universe, and the concept is gonna be like there's a guy without any powers, and all of his coworkers have them. I think it
All
might.
right.
I think that might be able to work. Interesting.
And
That's going to NBC.
that's within the DC universe.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
Like
gonna
the
be
DC cinematic universe.
No, it's on TV. So yeah, I'm sure it might be. Well, I'm not sure, but I would hope that it's part of their DC TV universe. They own Flash and all of their properties. Not Gotham, obviously, because that's kind of Fox's own thing. But yeah, it's not supposed to be, Superman, Batman. It's more niche characters or unknowns or maybe new things. But I'm sure it's going to be like, oh yeah, did you see the Daily Planet today, or whatever.
So it's these are new characters.
I'm not sure if it's new. There's very little about it. It was just that it's been greenlit and they're working on it. So who knows?
All right.
We might not see anything for that until next Comic-Con. But people are moving on. I mean, Chris Evans is already doing the next feature with Mark Webb, nonetheless. So that's kind of like comic book movie anyway.
Yeah, well, he's finally getting out of the comic book thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, he's
Going
doing.
back to-
Yeah, he's completing his Fox Searchlight contract. He's doing this
which
film
is
called
good.
Gifted. Yeah, 'cause he had a lot of promise 500 Days, and then kind of jumped right into Sony's web.
Yeah, I like those two movies though. I mean,
They're fun.
They're not that great. Yeah, but I mean, he does bring a lot to them. You can tell.
Yeah, I didn't think so necessarily the second one, but I thought the first
No,
was okay. I thought the lizard
think
was a
it's-
bad villain.
I think especially with the second one, I love that movie.
I
Like
don't,
that
man.
movie's a lot better than people give it credit for.
More
It's got
like a
it has
third
its
of that
problems,
movie
yeah.
is setting up the Sinister Six.
Yeah, I do think it's a problematic movie, but for me, like, there's a lot of stuff that's just working way too well for that movie that it really outweighs the other stuff for me.
I guess I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna rewatch the two of them eventually. The only things that come to mind, the things that I really liked about him, were in the first one. It was that cop car scene where he's talking to the cops. Spidey is, because that was like the first moment where I felt like, oh, this is actually Peter Parker. Like this is actually that big mouth Spider-Man. And then there's like the opening fight sequence in Spider-Man 2 is kind of similar. I just hope that Marvel's
that action sequence.
I'm hoping that Marvel's able to put more of that into that. That's what seems like Civil War is going to be like. I hope.
Yeah, that opening with for Amazing Spider-Man 2, just I gotta say that's probably like the best cinematic version of what it feels like to be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like just the sense of fun that you get. Like I love Raimi's movies, but they're just I don't know, they're not that triumphant. Like even down to just the score of Amazing Spider-Man 2, like I really think it just gets more of a sense of joy rather than just more of like a brooding kind of dark quality.
I kind of
like
I really
from
like
Danny
Danny
Elfman.
Elfman's one for the first two Spider-Man movies.
I love it too. It's an iconic theme, but like that could be a Batman theme. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing that really makes it sound like Spider-Man. It's a great piece of music that doesn't really say much about the character.
But then again, you have the Spider-Man cartoon theme that's thrown into those Sam Raimi movies. So I love that Asian lady in the subway with the violin.
Yeah, that's fun.
Like, I don't think you could do that in a superhero movie now. People
Why
are too
not?
uptight. It has to be dark and edgy.
No, it doesn't.
Like
I mean,
Guardians of the
especially
Galaxy
from
is the
Marvel,
closest. I don't know.
especially from Marvel Studios. Come on, they're
I mean,
not dark and edgy at all.
that's
They're
the-
all about fun and embracing the weirdness of what
Maybe,
they do.
but they don't really have anything else like that. Like Fox could do it with X-Men if they played like the cartoon theme song, but they wouldn't do that.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Fox is kind of lightened up. Like the whole X-Men series is lightened up. I mean, which I'm kind of bummed by. Like, I like Days of Future Past, but that felt more like a Marvel Studios movie, and I don't know, that kind of just bummed me. I wanted to see something a bit more serious, kind of like X2, because I fucking love X2.
I got a feeling like Apocalypse is gonna be pretty dark.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know though. Like, I do feel like comic book movies today, it's more about like the fun and the weird stuff, which is great. But for me personally, I kind of enjoyed how the more serious stuff from a decade ago. Nolan was a big part of that, obviously.
But I mean, that was the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, even fucking Daredevil, even to some extent, I think really works well as a pretty gritty comic book movie. The director's cut.
I mean, anything without
Gotta add
Bullseye
that.
in it.
That movie's so much fun.
I still like that meet cute on the playground when they're on like the teeter totter.
That's the worst scene in the
I
movie.
like that scene a lot.
I will defend that movie, like, but then when that scene's brought up, I'll just step back and go like, no, that's
Hey, I mean,
fucking
you
horrible.
haven't even seen
Just
the
leave it
Daredevil
alone.
show on Netflix, so if you want,
I haven't. No,
like I said, if you
I don't know if I can.
if you want the dark and gritty shit, watch that because that's 100% what it is. Like, there's no
but you haven't
smiles
seen-
to be had.
You haven't seen the director's cut either.
I tell you what, I'll watch the director's cut. You watch the first episode of that show.
Just the first episode.
The first episode's gonna make you watch the second and third. Watch the first three. The third one
Alright.
is the pièce de résistance.
And I'll get to it. I need time off so I can get to this shit.
Time off. Apparently, Masters of the Universe is going forward with Sony, and the writer for Thor Ragnarok is not getting time off. He's been brought in to try to get that script in order, which I'm not sure is a good thing.
I got nothing to say about Masters of the Universe, honestly. I didn't grow up with it.
Yeah, I didn't see the first movie, so
I mean, it seems like just another one of those things where, it's just why do you need to make that? It's just because it's a piece of property from the 80s and you hope that people are nostalgic for it. I mean, we've already
Wait. Have you seen that trailer for Gem and the Holograms?
Oh my god.
You know that's a Hasbro movie, right?
Yeah, I know.
I didn't know that until last week.
What is that movie trying to be?
I don't know. It's like a YouTube dream come true.
Yeah, it seems like and then there's a robot just in there.
Well, because
randomly.
I read the like show synopsis. Apparently, like they battle people and fight them, and then they have the music careers. It kind of sounds like Hannah Montana meets like, I don't know, Hasbro.
Earth to Echo or something.
Yeah. Well, no, I haven't seen that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, back to Masters of the Universe. Like, why? Like, this stuff is proven not to be that, financially viable. Fucking RoboCop didn't do that well.
It's because the angle they try to do your dark and gritty.
Well, yeah, I mean, I kind of enjoyed the remake. I like that they tried to do something different instead of doing a carbon copy of that movie with the original, which, I'll get into that. Movie's doing that later. But, I mean, that movie didn't have any reason to exist, and clearly it was not at all, it wasn't something that audiences were interested in either. Same thing just happened with we reviewed Vacation, which no one cared about.
Nope.
Really, who is a Masters of the Universe movie going to appeal to?
Someone.
Unless like someone like Michael Bay does it, where he can just make it look really, really fucking cool.
You could ask the same question about a Flash Gordon cameo in both Ted movies, but
that's a joke.
But
that's
in the
thing.
first one, it worked really well.
Yeah, but it works, but it was used as a joke. I mean, it's not like anyone is seriously going, "Hey, let's bring Flash Gordon back for a real movie."
I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
Like it works because it's a joke.
I mean, jokes. Terminator Genesis. We basically gave that. We didn't bash it, but we didn't think it was good.
But I mean, again, something that didn't do well here. I mean, evidently in China,
Yeah, I was gonna get to that.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
which makes it seem like now the sequel to that is
Exactly.
more than likely going to happen.
Yeah, because we already said this. There's a Chinese guy in that movie. Or is he South Korean?
I think it's Korean.
I think, but it was definitely, I know it was like co-financed by China, so they probably pushed it real hard for this launch. But yeah, I guess they're gonna make a Genesis Part 2.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's what, the fourth biggest opening for a movie in China ever, or for an American movie.
Yeah, I think for an American
In China,
movie.
I mean, yes, I mean they really pushed it, and
It's crazy.
that's exactly what they needed to save the movie financially. So good for Paramount. The movie's gonna be fine. I don't want a sequel, even though it's
Too late.
probably gonna happen now. But hey, at least Arnold gets work, and for the next person that steps in, hopefully they do it better. I mean, because I really do think there were really cool ideas with that movie, and even though it doesn't really end in a way where a follow up is necessary at all. I mean, there really isn't anywhere new to go with it except I don't know that whatever you might make up some stupid new plot with Skynet, but
we're gonna obviously see Kyle Reese fuck her, I would hope.
yeah, yeah. I mean, no one's begging for a Terminator movie, but you're gonna do it anyway. So just try to make it good.
Some things.
That's all I have to say.
Some things
about that.
never die. Okay, Zorro apparently is one of those also because they're finally getting a reboot off the ground too, which I'm actually kind of interested in because it's apparently going to be post-apocalyptic, which seems like it might work because we haven't got that yet. We haven't got the post-apocalypse superhero movie.
Where'd you hear this from?
It was all over the place. Everyone reported it. It's pretty official. I mean, they don't have a date yet or anything, and I know it's through independent financiers. And it's been try to get off the ground, I think, since the late 90s. And the concept is kind of like every generation has their Zorro, so obviously the most recent one was the Antonio Banderas stuff, which was good besides the last one. But I liked that first one, the Mark of Zorro with Anthony Hopkins. I think they got it down pretty good because Zorro is one of the main influences of Batman, or influencers rather. I'm not excited, but I think it could be good potentially.
I got nothing to say about it. I didn't grow up with Zorro, so that's.
You ever saw that cartoon?
No, I didn't have it.
The cartoon wasn't bad because it came out like right after the movie, and they also had like a Mummy series right after that. The Mummy Returns, I believe. It was like 98, 99. I'm not missing out on anything. It sounds like Scooby-Doo. I love Scooby-Doo.
Well, everyone loves Scooby-Doo, man.
Well, apparently
it's
so.
Classic.
Warner Brothers is making an animated feature.
Yeah, well, hey, hopefully it's closer to the cartoon. I mean, I haven't seen the live action version. Yeah.
Oh, don't.
No, I was gonna say I haven't seen the live action version in a while.
Okay, yeah.
Like
well, then we can talk about
I
this.
saw it as a kid.
They made
I liked
Scrappy
it then.
Doo the villain.
Yeah.
There's a problem with that.
I didn't mind it back then. I mean, now I'm just not passionate about that point
they
at
made
all.
Scrappy Doo take over the body of Mr. Bean.
Yeah, who cares?
That's insane.
I don't know. I was a kid then, man. I didn't care. None of that bothered me.
I mean,
I liked a lot of stuff back then as a kid without even bothering to just complain or think about these things.
I liked it
how they
too,
work
but
logistically.
in retrospect, Freddie Prinze Jr. as Fred doesn't work at all. I thought they did Daphne pretty good, Sarah Michelle Gellar, and the fact that they're an actual couple kind of worked. Velma was okay.
So have you seen this recently?
No. Well, yeah, kind of. It was like in the last 3 years, probably. It was on HBO Go.
I barely remember the movie. I mean, I'm just going to leave it there.
It has a fun tone, but it's like it tries to be the spooky thing at the same time. There's not really a mystery there, and it's way too over the top. But I think this movie might be good. Especially,
it's funny though. Just one more thing about the old Scooby-Doo. You know who wrote it, right?
The movie?
Yeah. James Gunn.
Really?
Yep.
Did he write the second one too?
He did write the second one.
Ouch. The second one was a little bit better, but still, like, it's a Scooby-Doo movie. Like, it's such an out there concept. Just make it like the show. They're driving around the van, okay? Or maybe they just got out of college. They decide to, like, make a detective agency. They get a call. Someone comes in. Oh, I got some problem. There's a ghost out there. Oh no, a ghost! And then like you give them some time to bond in the van on the way there. They're scared. Blah blah blah. They find out who it is. End of the mystery.
Here's an idea. Bring Kevin Smith in to write it.
That could actually work.
Yeah,
the Scooby-Doo moment during Jay and Silent Bob is actually pretty good. The
I'm
casting's
serious,
good too. It would probably work. It's just I think it's I don't want to get too ahead of myself. They said animated. They didn't say if it's going to be hand-drawn. It might be 3D. I hope it's not.
It's probably going to be 3D. It probably will be. Everything is. Peanuts is going to be in 3D.
Yeah, but I'm actually really excited about that because it looks just like the old cartoons. It looks just like the comics.
I mean, if you can still do something cool with 3D computer animation that's stylistically similar to the old cartoon.
Maybe, but I think Scooby-Doo, I think it has to be hand-drawn.
When it comes to reviving old stuff, we are in sort of just a time now where things are specifically made. Not it's not just lifting characters from old shows. It's like a specific aim to be respectful to the original source while you're doing it. So if they could do something like what it seems Peanuts is doing, which is do something clever with this new form of animation,
Yeah.
that could be very exciting.
Yeah, we'll see. I hope the Peanuts is good. It looks like it can't be bad. And so yeah, maybe Scooby-Doo something similar.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure Peanuts will be good, but it's a kids movie being marketed to kids, so of course it's not going to register with me. But also,
Peanuts have always been very adult.
yeah, but I mean, also just the voice of Charlie Brown. I don't know. Like, I'm just way too used to a very specific voice.
That Snoopy gun fight didn't work for you. The Red Baron sequence.
No, like I thought it has its charms. It's just I don't know. I'm skeptical. Like Peanuts is part of my childhood, so I want to protect that. Obviously, like my mind just doesn't want to. Like I hope it's good. I want it to work, but what if it doesn't?
Let's try not to think that way. That's how everyone does, it seems.
Yeah, I try to like everything.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna look too deeply into it. Just when I see it, I hope it's good.
Hope so too.
I mean, I think Paul Feig is behind it too. So that's I mean that's someone whose taste and comedic sensibilities I appreciate it. So
do you appreciate New Zealand comedy?
I can. Yeah.
You can. What about Flight of the Conchords?
I like Flight of the Conchords a lot.
Well,
I haven't seen the second season yet, but
Jermaine Clement said that a script is being written. But who
for
knows if
Flight
that's
of the
true?
Conchords?
Yeah, for some type of movie.
Oh, I thought you were going to get to what we do in the shadows too, but
oh, apparently that's happening too, which I'm
That
kind
is
of looking
happening.
forward to. I just hope they scrap the werewolf stuff.
I hope it's why. What's wrong with the werewolves?
I thought that was the worst part of the movie.
Dude, they were. Are you kidding me? That was funny.
First 20 minutes of that movie were hilarious. Like the first 40 actually, and then it overstayed its welcome with me.
I mean, I don't know. It was pretty short. It was pretty quick. Like there was a point where it could have gone on for too long, but I had a good time, and I saw it with a crowd too, which I don't think you did.
Yeah, I saw it at home. I still loved it. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun audience movie with a sold-out
I
crowd.
bet. Highly bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if this is actually a thing, because think about it. Brett McKenzie is doing that Bob the Musical thing with Michael Chabon.
And he's very busy.
Yeah, and he's very busy.
I mean, he's got a lot of
Yeah,
work.
he's probably working on another Muppet movie. And then on top of that, it's an HBO property. So after how well or not well Entourage did, which I think is going on digital on Tuesday, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I'd be shocked if they greenlit another a movie this soon.
If
it's
it
gonna
did make its money back
at home.
theatrically, yeah, like it's got fans.
Mm-hmm.
That's how people are going to see it. There's people that are, it's going to get even more people to watch the show that'll binge on it over time when it hits, maybe not Netflix, but
It's on Amazon
when
now. After the which I don't
is.
get. After the movie was already out of theaters, that's when Amazon Prime added the show.
Oh, they should have had it before then.
Yeah.
Made it available. Yeah, that would have gotten more people to see it.
On the flip side, I'm sure Amazon's going to get a lot of rentals now because of that.
Yeah, no, I mean
So-
that's not a bad strategy at all. I mean, yeah, it should do well. I mean,
You see that report that Amazon Fire TVs outsold Apple TVs this quarter or whatever? Why is that a surprise to people? Amazon has a video streaming service that you can get a subscription with. And if you're already a Prime member, you get it bundled in anyway. Whereas Apple has nothing of the sort.
no, I mean, how does that how do people even do rentals on that? Do they do it on because all you can use is Apple TV for that, right?
No, it's connected to your whole Apple account. So you can watch if you rent something on your computer, you can then watch it on your TV in that 24-hour span, or I don't know how it works. I've done it.
Yeah,
on
but I
my
mean,
PlayStation.
how would you connect it to your TV? Because I mean, the average
This is the
consumer, I don't think.
HDMI.
Yeah, but I don't think the average consumer is going to have their computer connected to their TV.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you can. Okay, you have the Apple TV.
It's not
connected to your
exactly
TV.
user friendly.
You can
is what I'm
use.
saying.
It has a built-in remote, but I know they also have an app on your phone, so you can probably just scroll. It's called AirPlay. You can just pick a movie or whatever and AirPlay it. It's kind of like Google Casting, except you have to have this big ass box instead of a thumbstick in the back of your computer.
I don't know. Is Apple working on some sort of more user friendly streaming service?
Supposedly they're working on their own digital TV service, which they postponed, and it's probably going to come out 4 months from now, a little bit longer than that. They're going to make a new version of the Apple TV when they debut their new TV service. And I'm sure there's going to be some kind of price point where you get Apple Music plus Apple TV.
Yeah, I'm not like just speaking as a consumer, like Apple, like as far as movies and TV, have not really done anything to like appeal to me. Like I know I can rent stuff for cheap through iTunes, but I could only watch that on my laptop, and then I'd have to hook it to my TV. I have a much easier time just going on Vudu or something, just from a Blu-ray player, or even through Amazon.
Well, yeah, you don't have the Apple only works if you own Apple. Like you have a MacBook.
Yeah,
but if you had an
I got
iPhone,
an iPad.
Oh, you have an iPhone.
Yeah, I have an
I know
iPhone.
that.
I have an iPad. I got several Apple products. Yeah.
So then I wouldn't know why it would be a hard thing for you. It's all the same infrastructure.
Well, I guess it's just compared to what's like available. My Blu-ray player has apps for Netflix, for Amazon,
if Apple doesn't make it, you can't do Apple. That's the catch.
I can access that stuff easier just by clicking the remote.
Yeah. I think that goes for most
plus it'll look better. I mean, when I hook up my my laptop to my TV, it doesn't look nearly as good.
The amount of people out there that own a Google Cast or a Roku or a Fire TV, or just plug in to their TV like I do, are way more than the Apple TV users out there.
I mean, yeah. Plus, Apple TV's like pretty expensive, right?
Yeah, it's really expensive. I think it's like $100 or a little bit less, like $85.
Yeah, I mean, a Roku box is
like $70.
Much cheaper than that, right? Yeah.
And then Apple Fire TV, if you get the box, I think is $60, and the stick's like $30, and then Chromecast is $35. You can get it for like $28 online.
Man, I mean, just from my perspective, just like I don't know, maybe Apple just isn't doing something that's appealing to me, but they really got to step up their game if they want to compete with the likes of Vudu or Amazon.
They could just buy Netflix.
You really think that they would do that?
They wouldn't,
Netflix
but
would sell.
They have the money. It's not about selling. If you have the money, you can just buy the stock. You can become the primary stockholder. You could do a power move like that. You wouldn't have to go through the FCC and merge with them. Just like become the owner. Like, that's how money works. So you hear about this The Rock's next project? I'm sorry, Dwayne Johnson.
What are we calling him? The Rock, Dwayne Johnson?
I'm gonna keep calling him The Rock because I'm still in the demographic that remembers
everybody
him
calls
doing
him
the people's
Rock.
elbow. Yeah,
Everybody
but how
calls
many
him
of
The
those
Rock.
people
Like,
actually
he's known
watched
as-
WWF when he was on it?
Nobody, but he was always
did.
known as The Rock, even when he was on movies. Like early on in movies, fucking I don't know, when did he start using Dwayne Johnson?
I remember he was Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Like that started right around when Fast Five happened, I think.
I don't know, when he started doing like kids movies.
Yeah,
he stopped using
2009.
the title The Rock.
Because they're too young to know who he was.
Which is weird to decide to use your real name when you're doing embarrassing kids movies like that.
He's not the first one to do it. Ludacris did it. Now he's Chris Ludacris Bridges. Tyrese, I think, added his last name to some things.
Yeah, remember when it was just Tyrese?
Yeah, the Gibson's on there. It's probably hard having a mononym. I kind of want one, but I don't.
Why?
Because, look, think about it. Meryl Streep. They could just call her Meryl. You would still know who the fuck she is.
So what, you would just want to be called Brian?
Well, just Gillis.
Just Gillis?
That's what they did at my high school. It's like no one called me by my first name.
May as well. Well, I mean, getting called by your last name, that's nothing new. But from a professional standpoint, I mean, fuck. Like,
it's a dick move, but if you're famous enough, you pull it off.
May as well just call you McG.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really working out for the guy.
Good. Maybe his name's the reason why he doesn't get gigs anymore.
Use your full name, like, in entertainment. Don't fucking try to
Madonna.
Be an inanimate object or... Okay, well, that's back in the fucking 80s, so what? Like,
Cher's still around. What are you talking about? Tons of people follow her on Twitter.
Yeah, but, like, she was established way back then.
Well, not in the 80s. She was established in the late 60s.
All right, yeah, well, she's known. That's my point.
Yeah.
I mean, now it's, I don't know, it just seems kind of dumb. Like, you know what? I don't care.
But the reason I brought up mononyms and The Rock in particular is because he's doing another project with Disney. They're making a Jungle Cruise movie, so your worst dreams continue to come true. They are going to make this Magic Kingdom movie, and I hope it's kick-ass, and I hope Jon Favreau still does it. because apparently Jungle Book looks amazing, and I hope that gives them a reason to keep him around.
I mean, yeah, as long as he gets, as long as he can be creative, because I know his, Iron Man 2 and Cowboys and Aliens. Like, I don't know if he's officially spoken about them, but if Chef is any indication, he probably wasn't
Chef.
having that good a time.
Even,
yeah, Chef's a really good
even
movie.
without the commentary of filmmaking in there, I still think it's a great film. Part of that's John Leguizamo.
That's
Big part of
probably
that.
the only way to look at it, because it's really like it is just a very
Yeah, it's an
simple movie
allegory.
that's not really that much about anything.
Yeah, it's about becoming an indie filmmaker and leaving the system.
Yeah, I mean, and it's it's a fun movie, it's entertaining, but
Mhm.
I don't know, there isn't that much to it. It's a good crowd pleaser though.
I mean, there's the food shots alone.
Yeah, which I was hungry too. You know what I did?
Even if you weren't hungry, pretty sure it would make you hungry.
No, it will make you hungry. That's a problem.
That's a must-watch movie. It's on Netflix. It's a great.
Yeah, it's a really good movie.
It's a
yeah,
great view.
absolutely.
So yeah, now we got Jungle Cruise coming. We already had one Haunted Mansion. Supposedly we're getting a second one eventually.
Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, we have a fifth Pirates of the Caribbean coming. I'm just saying they have so many now that they're gonna make their universe film, which was supposed to happen before most of these did anyway. So I hope the Magic Kingdom's still a thing.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, I think this all goes back to like, okay, so if they do it, is it gonna be successful?
I think it would be, especially if they
But,
put
like,
Mickey Mouse in it.
Yeah, but like, I mean, not only that, but like, also, do you think it's gonna be good? Like, because no one really knows what story they're coming up with for these things.
The way I
Uh,
see
you
it
know.
for Magic Kingdom, it's kind of like a Kingdom Hearts thing, where it takes place in like a universe where all of the properties from Disneyland are like planets or something, or maybe something less than that. Maybe it's kind of like the Page Master, and you get sucked into the actual attractions at the ride. But I don't know. It's probably gonna be something like Chronicles of Narnia.
I mean, but like, even so though, like, I
Jumanji.
think the thing is, what are they really gonna do with it? Like, aside from just playing with all their established brands,
That's all they have
like,
to do.
you got to make a good movie with it. Otherwise, you're gonna end up with some like Tomorrowland that's just gonna polarize a bunch of people, and
Just-
they're
look,
it's
I
not
would-
really gonna click with them. And
I would very much look forward to, or I do look forward to, Disney making a meta movie about their theme parks, because they're already, like I said, they're already making the movies that are adapted anyway, which usually aren't that good. Because like, yeah, the first Parts of the Caribbean was good. There hasn't been a good one since then.
no, it's a classic. The sequels are fun.
They're okay.
I mean, there's a lot
Dead
of
Man's
really,
Chest looks good. Davies Jones.
there's a
looks
lot
amazing.
of great set pieces in Dead Man's Chest.
But the movie's not good. Once like
The movie's fun.
the
movie's
teasing
a
that
lot
they
of
did
fun.
in the first one about Bootstrap Bill was good enough. I didn't actually want to see that story, but I guess we are going to keep continuing it because Orlando Bloom's in the next one. So he's two things, okay? He's Legolas and whatever his name is in Pirates of the Caribbean. And
Will Turner.
yeah, Will Turner, and like everything else is eh.
Yeah, which I'm bummed because I really like the closure that his character got in the third one.
Well, you must have seen it recently. Is that the one with Chow Yun Fat in it?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was wow. Like not Rihanna, but someone else who looked like her. It was. I'm pretty sure it was Naomi Harris
yeah, I know it doesn't look like Rihanna at all.
with the make. Well, she was the accent. Okay, Rihanna's actually from Barbados, and that was the accent she
Okay.
was doing.
All right.
I don't know.
No, but I mean, yeah, I like the Pirates sequels. 2 and 3, I like the ones that are part of the
I
trilogy.
didn't see the World's End. Oh yeah, I did. That was bad. That was the one where Johnny Depp was like running through a realm that was disintegrating, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was very, very weird and very out there, but I really enjoyed it. They're fun sequels. I mean,
Nothing. But compared to the first one, oh man.
I mean, there's
So
yeah.
good.
I mean, but they're all really well made. They all feel very epic, which is,
Yeah.
I mean, now that we're bombarded with just a shitload of blockbusters, that's something that you rarely get, is that big budget movies just don't feel epic anymore. It doesn't feel like there's much effort being put into it to, really make you feel the scale and the spectacle around it. And, the Pirates sequels, they definitely feel big. Like, it's not just money being thrown on the screen, whereas, it's the exact opposite problem that the fourth one has, which the fourth one is just, like, they have all these great sets, and you don't really you're not wowed by anything. It's all just kind of there. It's like air. I mean, I'll go as far as to say that the first three Pirates of the Caribbean movies, for our generation, that's our Indiana Jones. Like, I
Yeah,
will go
well,
that
we'll
far.
see where Guardians of the Galaxy 2 goes, because the first one I think is more Indiana Jones.
I, it's more like, I don't know. It's kind of like a cross of Star Wars and Indiana Jones, I guess. But yeah, you can go with that if you want.
Go with
I'll
that.
stick with Pirates, honestly.
Stay with Pirates. About Raiders.
Yeah.
Ice Cube and Son are apparently getting a LA Riots thriller made for them at Lionsgate, which I'm sure people are going to see.
Yeah, I mean, like, who knows how that's going to turn out? I don't know what story they're coming up with. Like, the idea in theory, it's hot now because of Straight Outta Compton, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So, but, it all comes down to, like, whether or not, A, it's going to be good, whether or not it's marketed well, and, like, whether or not it's still relevant by the time that they have the movie made and they're marketing it to get it out there.
Well, it seems like LA
Which,
Riots are a hot
yeah.
point right now because
Yeah, and it probably will be.
you can't really talk about what's happening currently, but if you make an allegory for something that happened, about 20
But in the
years
past.
ago, it's okay. Because it's not actual commentary. It's,
Yeah, but
it's a metaphor.
It's such a bummer too when you make stuff that's like said in the past and you realize that we just haven't changed at all.
Yeah.
And we've been doing this in movies, like historically, just over the time. It all it shows is that we just haven't changed at all. We're still the same as we were 100 years ago.
I mean, the most prolific, or not prolific, but the technical advances that happen in cinema are always around very controversial things. First actual film that has real film language, Birth of a Nation. First talkie, The Jazz Singer. First colored film, Gone with the Wind. I'm sure the first VR movie is gonna be like 12 Years a Slave Part 2 or something.
Well, yeah, except though, I mean, they're not. It's not like you really think that they're going to have like a racist version of 12 Years a Slave.
I don't know.
And I mean,
Roots
Gone
is
with
like
the
the
Wind.
first big TV miniseries, so
Well, I mean, plus like all the examples that you listed earlier, those are examples that are like, okay, Gone with the Wind. I mean, Birth of a Nation. Obviously, it's fucking, it's pro slavery and whatnot.
and the Jazz Singer's
it's,
about blackface.
yeah, it's got what, like one scene with blackface.
No, as far as I know, it's every time he performs.
I have not seen the movie, so
Well, I haven't seen it either because I
yeah,
know it's
we've
not.
seen clips in history.
It's
class
not an
and whatnot.
entire talkie. It's only certain moments that
Yeah,
have
just certain
audio.
scenes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I need it's short though. Like I should see it. I mean,
it's like I
if
almost
I get a
feel,
copy of it, I'll be in like a film history mood and I'll watch it.
It's
I'm
like-
sure like
watch that and then watch the Neil Diamond remake right after.
have you seen that?
No, I've like flipped
No.
channels and seen it. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but I mean, anyway, here's my point. So you got Jazz Singer and then Gone with the Wind. Obviously, it's about characters that are from the South. Like, it doesn't really go overboard with it, and that's part of the like why it still holds up today. But it doesn't. It's not like pushing a racist agenda, but it is there.
Yeah.
Then you get to today. Is there really anything like that we're okay with putting out there that has anything demeaning to anybody whatsoever?
I don't know.
I mean, especially in Hollywood. Hollywood is very liberal right now. They're not exactly trying to put anybody down unless, like, the only thing I could think of is maybe a Middle East conflict. And that's it. Like, that's probably the only thing that we could put together for VR that would end up being, like, offensive down the line 20 years from now.
There's got to be something. 'Cause, I mean, history's against us when it comes to cinema. Like, when you trailblaze in cinema, it seems like there's always something very controversial behind it. I mean, controversy is never going to stop.
Yeah, I mean,
See that you're...
all I can say for the actual movie is I hope it's good. As I say with just about everything, that's my final point of every fucking talking point we got is I hope it's good.
Did you hear that Regal Cinemas has introduced bag checking?
I heard about that, yeah.
Is that everywhere, or is that being rolled out? How's that work? Is there a new hire that just checks bags? How big are the bags? Is it just purses? Is it fanny packs? Because people come into my theater with all kinds of shit. Backpacks all the time.
Yeah, I mean, you know what scares me is that, I mean, this might be overboard, like, but, and this probably won't happen soon, but I could totally see this coming down the line where it's going to be just like airport security just to get in the
Mm-hmm.
theater. And I mean, that's pretty much going to be the death of cinema right there. Is then we'll
We're gonna
sooner or
start
later we'll
buying
just
VR.
we're gonna yeah we're just gonna stick around at home too, and just
Uh-huh.
the audience experience will be fucking dead. Like, I mean, and like I can't help but get worried about. Like I was in I had this thought yesterday. I was at the New Beverly waiting in line outside,
Mad
and a fucking
Max.
yeah, Mad Max, which they both look great, and that was a fun night. But anyways, outside, like this guy started this fight thinking that guy cut in line just to hang out with his
A
friends.
fight,
Yeah, like or
like
you know
a
he was just
verbal
being yeah
confrontation.
he was being pretty verbal, and like I it just looked like it was gonna get ugly, like there was gonna be a fucking fist fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it wasn't until like we
Was it
started
a
going
sellout?
inside. Oh yeah, no, it's sold out. Like the line went all the way around the corner, and this was right before they were going to start letting us in. And I mean, nothing happened obviously, but like I did, everyone was kind of uncomfortable, and I did have the thought of like, if a shooting happened here of all places,
That'd
like
be
I would be
bad.
bummed. And like also there were people coming in with backpacks whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
The new Bev, I mean, they're fairly easygoing. They don't have any checking system. Nor am I saying that they should at all. But like it's just that was something that came to mind. It's just like, well, I mean, now you just can't. You
Like
can't
someone
really
could
trust,
have a knife.
yeah, you can't really trust people, and it's like it's L.A. too. It's like, man, if shit happens, that would just really fucking suck.
I really hope that AMC and Cinemark don't follow suit.
I mean, I won't blame them if they do.
Well, if they do, it's gonna become a nationwide thing. And yeah, like I'm with you. I don't. No one likes going through airport security.
Well, here's the thing: is that theaters like that's already policy that you're not supposed to like bring backpacks in.
Yeah, because you have a camera.
Or packages with you. Yeah, I mean, that's already a policy. Of course, purses, you can't exactly say no to that. And I mean, I'm not like I can't really object to it because like I do understand like and I think it's good that there is some sort of system in place, but then at the same time, you could put a gun like
Under your
have it in your
t-shirt.
pocket.
Yeah, like
Yeah, I mean, you could strap it to yourself somehow, and then it's like, okay, then where does it
exactly.
stop? So like,
Because if you're gonna do
how,
a bag check, why don't you just do metal detectors?
yeah, so I mean, how do we find a system that works? That's I'm pretty sure that there's
want
just going to be
to-
X-ray detectors before we
Yeah,
know it.
I want to
Yeah.
read the reports. Like, have any of the active shooters in recent times used bags? Because to my knowledge, they're just wearing trench coats and they have their shit on their person. So that means
Yeah,
they
I
wouldn't
mean,
get checked anyway.
No one comes up with a bag with a
That's
gun.
stupid.
So.
Yeah, like
It's
I
like-
mean, you could have a bomb in a bag, or maybe ammo, or who knows what.
I mean, this is a response like strictly out of fear, and I can't blame them. But like at the same time, like we do need to work. If this is going to keep happening, we got to work on a solution, at least for theater safety. And as far as like just stopping these shootings from happening altogether, that's a whole other thing that we got to work on too. I mean,
I can just thinking about it, like, if you were, let's just say, if you were to get caught in the gunfire at a theater during a shooting, would you get like a lifetime free pass for that theater?
I don't know. I mean,
Like, how
I
do
don't
you
know what
handle
they've done
that?
so far.
How would HR handle that like the trauma that you had experienced through that event?
I mean, I know that theaters have been willing to pay for hospital bills for guests that have gotten injured in like almost shootings. The thing that happened in Newport, someone got hurt, and even though that was just a fucking fake scare, and yeah, they just I believe that they just paid for the medical bills that they had to get a cast or something.
So the medical bills aren't the expensive part, though, for something like that. It's the PTSD stuff. It's the trauma and the psychological stuff. That costs money.
I mean, this world is fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer for this. Just
No, we don't have an answer.
It doesn't bags. It doesn't affect me. Then again, I'm not walking around carrying a purse. So if it's gonna piss somebody else off, then yeah, I get it. It's a bummer. I mean, at the same time, the moment that they start asking me to check my pockets, I'll get pretty upset. But then at the same time, it's like I got nothing to hide. But God, I don't know what we're gonna do about this. Like, or maybe it's just, yeah, this is how this is gonna be a big step in how the theater experience dies
It's like
because people are just too afraid to go out because they're
yeah,
afraid they're gonna get shot.
it's like the end of times now.
Oh, people are fucking terrible.
Talking about terrible people, what did you do this week? What did you ingest? What did you watch? What did you listen to?
Wow, what are you trying to get
I'm
at?
saying you and I are terrible people. Would you?
Oh, okay, well, because if you're getting to the movies that I saw, you can that sort of fits with terrible people on screen. You know what? There is. I don't know if you've seen this before, but I finally saw Blood In, Blood Out, which is something that my coworkers have been pushing me to watch.
Is that a documentary? It's obviously about
No,
gangs.
yeah, no. It's this. It's a 1993 crime film that's about 3 hours long. That's set in East LA and San Quentin prison. Well, here's the thing. It's part gang movie, it's part prison movie, and it's also part cop drama.
And it's 3 hours.
Yeah, it's very long, but it is an epic movie. Like, it's just so great. It never, it always holds your attention. And basically, it's about these three friends in East LA. They've all got pretty much different futures set up for them. Like, they're all going down different paths, and none of it just goes the way that any of them expects. One of them ends up spending time in prison. And ends up working within that system. The guy that was probably the most intense ends up becoming a cop. Another guy ends up becoming an artist who was expected to be the most successful, and he gets washed up and has problems. And
Sounds
none
like
of
I've
them.
seen this.
You might have. I mean, more people. It has.
Who's in it?
It's got a bunch of like a bunch
like
of no
Lou
names,
Diamond
except for.
Phillips or something.
Well, it's got a young Benjamin Bratt who's I
like
think he's
him.
on a TV show on A&E. Yeah, it's directed by Taylor Hackford. He did The Devil's Advocate. I don't know if he's not that big a name to me. I don't know if I've seen any of his other stuff.
I probably flipped channels and saw it on cable when it
Yeah,
back
but
in
I
the
mean,
day.
it's not available to stream anywhere. I had to track down the DVD through Netflix DVDs, and I'm so glad I saw it because like this
Yeah.
is it's a great crime epic. Like it's no. Like it's not the mastery that The Godfather is at, but it's still like it's pretty much like on it's that level of good. Like it's that level of not that high level of quality because The Godfather is just such a high bar, but like Blood In, Blood Out, it's really damn great. Like absolutely worth seeing.
Next time I'm in the mood for a 3-hour movie, I might look into it.
Yeah, no, I was thinking the same thing just because it was tough to get me to watch it because of that runtime, but Anyway, so that's one thing I watched, but also I saw Sinister 2 over the weekend,
Mm-hmm. And no one else did.
and yeah, well, no, it actually did pretty well.
Yeah, it did okay. I mean, for a
yeah,
Bloomhouse
but,
movie, it didn't do well though.
Yeah, but well, for the budget, it made its budget back already, so it's just going to make change from then on out. And whether I don't know if a Sinister 3 is going to happen or not. I don't know. That really depends. It doesn't need to happen.
If there's a camera in someone's attic, then it can happen.
Well, let's just make this straight. The movie, like critically, total fucking it's
Shit
a
show.
total bomb. Like yeah, critically, like everyone fucking most people hate it. It's one of the worst reviewed movies of the year.
Did it scare you though?
Did it scare me? No, it didn't scare me. Like it's not the first film. It's not as well written. It's not as moody or like atmospheric as the first film.
So what
Like
you're saying is Ethan Hawke's not in it.
no, he's not it. Like it's it's not scary, but the big thing I'm saying here, even though those sound like negatives, what I'm saying is that this is not the first film,
Well,
and
I
that is
still haven't
such
seen
a
the
good.
first, so.
Yeah, that's such a good thing, though. Like, I mean, because the first film, it's a legitimately good like horror movie. There's a great the way that you discover what's happening, the way you learn about this mythology through Ethan Hawke, it really works really well. Here, it's different because it focuses more on the kid's perspective, and it's more about like how these kids interact with the other ghost kids, and
So it's
it
kind of
might
like
sound
Poltergeist.
it's actually closer to Children of the Corn, but I mean yeah, Poltergeist like that is comparable absolutely, but I really like this movie like a lot.
Well,
like,
you
I
are
li-
on
I li-
a streak of liking the movies that no one likes, huh?
Yeah, no, but like I mean, Fantastic Four. It's like I see that that's not a good film. I can't hate it because I know like it's a total failure. I recognize that, but I'm fascinated by failures, and I try to find things to click to and see what's working and what's not. So that that's like Fantastic Four is like something that I enjoy on the same level that I like something like Alien 3, where I'm just kind of fascinated by what went wrong. And I legitimately like the movie. I could see that why there would be negative reviews, but I was expecting it to probably be around like a 30% or something. Because I mean, like
He's like a
this
15,
movie,
right?
now I think it's at like a 12. I don't know. Like it's really low, but anyway, that doesn't matter. Like I had a lot of fun. I really did. My crowd had a lot of fun. I like this mythology a lot. So, I really like seeing the new direction that they took it in. And you know what, like just the humor of the movie, like there is a very it's kind of the writers, like there's a sense of like they're very self-aware of how ridiculous it is, and it's the same writers for the first film, and they're just going in a completely different direction. And pretty much the whole time they're kind of just going fuck it. Like there's a lot of like winking at the camera like lines that are pretty well delivered and are legitimately funny. So and I also I like that Deputy So and So, the comic relief of the first film, like actually is the main lead here, the main bridge that we have for the first film. Well, and I mean, yeah, played by what's his name, James Ranson.
Oh, it's on my list. The first one, I'm gonna watch it. It's probably
the first one you gotta get to.
I'm probably actually gonna jumpstart my Halloween thing just because I have so many films. I'm probably gonna start mid September just so I can get as many out there. And like I kind of sit around now. I'm like, I actually kind of want to watch this, and I go, wait, nope, I gotta wait. So I'm kind of getting over that. I don't want
the first one's really well made, and like if you got a good, I don't know if you got a good sound system or if you got good headphones, like watch it in the dark. Like just the sound of that movie, also the sound of this movie, like just the eerie vibe of the home movies. Like here they're just as fucked up and pretty awesome, but they're not like as eerie as they were in the first movie. Like because this time, what's interesting is that for the first film, that movie is shot for a PG-13 rating.
Did he get it? I thought it got an R.
No, it got an R. Like there was not. They shot it for a PG-13. They followed the rules. It's not that bloody. It's not that disgusting or anything. They didn't write any swears into the script. Any fucks that were dropped were just kind of improvised on set. So there aren't that many in the movie. But when they brought it to the MPAA, they tried to get the PG-13, and they looked at it and they said, yeah, you know what, you guys follow the rules of everything for a PG-13, but
just too traumatic, sorry.
Yeah, we're not going to give you an R because this is way too fucking scary. We can't let kids watch this. So Sinister 2 definitely ups the blood and the gore, and the Super 8 movies are just kind of a bit more ridiculous, but as horror movie kills, they're so fucking cool. Like one in particular in a church is pretty fucking amazing.
I'll look into it. I generally, as my rule of thumb, I avoid horror films or horror film sequels rather, because I rarely watch originals anyway. I'm more interested in reboots.
Well, I think the great thing about this sequel, though, is that it's not at all like trying to repeat the first film. It's not following that formula. It's doing something completely different.
Which is something horror films almost never do. It's almost always a redux.
Yes, I mean, it feels more like the writers just kind of indulging themselves and showing stuff that they would like to see. But you know what? I like the direction that they went with it, even though the expansion on the mythology is a bit more convoluted. Like, I thought the movie was tightly paced. I thought it was fun. And, the big draw in the movie is the Super 8 found footage that they find. And the stuff that they had, it definitely is, maybe not necessarily, it might not be as memorable, I'd say, as the first movie, because the stuff that they shot for the first movie, it just like the way that they shot it, it's much more eerie, and it just leaves a bigger impression on your mind. Here it's more bloody, but it's still just as cool. So I thought it was a fun horror sequel. Like I'm probably gonna watch it again when it's on a streaming platform. I had a lot of fun with it. It's one of the more fun movies I've personally watched during the summer. So it's right up my alley. I really like this mythology. So I can't say that it will work for everybody, but my crowd was into it. It was a good time for me.
I mean, I guess we're just doing reviews now during 2 cents. That's what it sounds like.
Well, it's kind of what we always do near the end. I mean,
well, I guess.
And plus, you didn't see it, so what else can I talk about?
Since you got to do yours, I want to do mine then. Even though you saw this too, the end of the tour. I think it's my favorite movie of the year.
It's definitely one of my favorite movies of the year. But like
It was
y-
great, even
you
when
know,
it wasn't.
like I'll let you start this because I don't even my review like it's like I don't know how to review something like this. Like,
You
do you know
really
what I mean?
can't.
Like, yeah,
It's in the same territory as like Before Sunrise or Boyhood. It it captures life so well that it transcends what a film is,
yeah. I mean, it's what I called it was that this was the My Dinner with Andre of road trip movies.
which I still haven't
Like,
seen because it's like
yeah,
that's like
which
the epitome of mumblecore.
I mean, well, it's just a conversation. That's it. And like here, all they really do is talk, and like there's like some pit stops in there, and it's I know that My Dinner with Andre like really bores some people because it's just a dinner conversation, and
Hmm.
here it's like, well, at least they're going places. But I mean, just the stuff that they talk about, like I feel like for us specifically
Yeah.
as film school grads, like or just anybody that's trying to
Con-
break into some sort of art
or
form, and
someone that
that like
considers themselves an intellectual.
yeah, and is like just the way that they navigate through the world, the like basic thoughts that they have, throughout life, like just
It's an
there's
important movie.
yeah, I mean, you're bound to relate to it, like uh, you know,
Like I
just through
like
this discussion, like
stupid things like I carry a bandana in my back pocket in case it gets really hot and I don't want sweat going into my eyes. Like I do that.
yeah, I mean, what you're not trying to copy, are
No,
you?
no, like I've never read David Foster Wallace. And reason behind that is because Infinite Jest is 1,000 pages and I don't really have the time to read 1,000 pages. Like that would take forever. It would take like 2 months.
And,
But
I don't
watching the
know.
movie
I
made
want
me
to read
want
it.
to
Yeah.
read it, or at least try to read it, because there were certain things in the film, and I know almost all the dialogue had to have been, from the tapes or the recollections of David Linsky. So it was mostly true, and just some of the stuff he said. This like one conversation in particular, Wallace anyway, he was talking about why like he doesn't have a TV in his house and how it's the worst addiction. And then he says this line, even though I'm sure they kind of changed it around, but he starts talking about virtual reality and when it becomes a thing 10 years from now, aka now, because it was that conversation
hmm
happened like 15 years.
It was 1996 when they had that conversation.
Yeah, so it's
Like,
20 years
I
ago.
mean, which is another thing that's insane is like it just we kind of talked about this of like movies like being used for we just talked about it of like going to the past to make an
Mhm.
allegory for today. And I mean, this is a very different way of doing that, but it's just like it shows you how really nothing has changed.
But
I
he,
mean,
I don't know,
that's crazy. Like,
he said this thing about I can't even quote it because it hurt, like the line hurt so bad. Like I'm looking so forward to virtual reality and buying one of these head strapped units and using it. And Seth Rogen, or not Seth Rogen, Jason Segel, he says something like, we want to get this addiction at home and be by ourselves, and it's like someone makes it for us and they don't care about us at all. They just want us to buy something, but yet it's something that we get so much love and nurturing from, and yet we're alone when we do it. And he's like, I eventually there's going to be virtual reality porn, and that's going to be the end of days.
yeah, which
They
is
have
exactly.
that. They have
I mean,
virtual
that's
reality porn. Like,
it's stuff like that where I'm just kind of like, that's part of my reason where I'm just like, I sound like some anti-technology douchebag, but I'm just kind of like, I don't want to use that stuff.
it's scary.
I mean, like, and like the thing is, I get scared, like, when it's, especially when there's the idea of like, what if we have to plug our brains into the internet and then,
Hmm.
maybe like that becomes like one whole unified consciousness. It's like, no, I don't want to fucking do that. Fuck that.
I mean,
No.
that's what Ready Player One's about, kind of.
I mean, yeah, that's also what Transcendence was about, which
Not gonna see that though.
yeah, you don't have to. I didn't hate that movie, but I found the ideas in there at least interesting and worth just watching just for that, even if some stuff is really stupid. But
Like the setup for Ready Player One is basically they finally made a VR technology, and there's a solar system. It's a game, but it's like a whole solar system in the game, and you can be on any planet. And every planet there's like a theme for anything. It's like here's a Lord of the Rings planet, here's a Bad Boys planet, here's a whatever, and you can live out your dreams. You go to school there, and it's free and all that stuff. So you're always connected to this world, and it kind of has like a Fahrenheit 451 with the the walls in your living room, and you're always connected to stuff like that. It's like, and the further it evolves in the game, the worse our world becomes. Um, but I don't know, it's just like there's so much in the end of the tour, and it wasn't just the acting because that was good too. But yeah, it just and like I'm gonna write a review, or at least I plan to. Like I left the theater with the same kind of emotional blow that I left me Earl and the Dying Girl from, and it was probably because they used the same Brian Eno song to close out the film.
I mean, it's.
But I don't know. Like I was just like I wasn't depressed. I was definitely like thinking
You were
about
thinking
things.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it definitely hits home in like just a way of like, these what they talk about. It's stuff that I don't know about you. I'm sure that a lot of people though think about these things on a regular basis. Just things
Hmm.
about relationships, about depression, or if you're in an artistic field, like how public perception plays into the work that you do, and
And
if you hit it big,
mhm.
like how you try to stay true to yourself without getting consumed with all the bullshit that comes with fame and whatnot.
But then there's
I
even
mean,
stuff about like as a writer when you're doing your art that you like to be alone, and then when you're not doing your art it's like you're using people when you're around
yeah,
them.
and it's just the compromises that you
Yeah,
like
like
have to make to do it.
it's
But I
stuff
mean,
it's stuff that we all think about, or not all of us, it's stuff that a lot of people think about,
most of us,
and
yeah.
it articulates it so well in this conversation that it's hard not to be self-reflexive afterwards.
But as far as like, okay, putting aside like, because I think we pretty much mined this out of how the movie hit us personally. I think just
It's just
talking about the
good
movie
anyway.
itself, yeah, the way that's put together,
All the
like
actors, even
so great. Like
Meryl Streep Jr.
I mean, you brought it up though, like how they had to have used the tapes. It's like, I mean, yeah, just these performances, everything feels so naturalistic. Like, I mean, it really feels like these actual guys, even
Uh-huh.
though in the back of my mind, I know that's Jason Segel, I know that's Jesse Eisenberg, but I'm still able to forget, like, which Jason Segel,
Yes,
like,
like he
holy
got
shit,
into
like
the
that.
role.
Yeah, like I mean, he just really it's not like it doesn't feel like he did that much. He's probably just I don't know what David Foster Wallace was like. I've never seen any footage of him or anything.
Hmm.
I imagine though that like just the little mannerisms though like just feel so much like that character just based on seeing a photo. Like I do get a sense that he is that guy. Like he really gave it his all. And, it looks it's so effortlessly done.
It's just
Just that performance, yeah.
it
I
was
mean, and
written so well, and like it was funny. It wasn't ha 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 funny, but like the wit and humor that was involved. Like I was laughing by myself on a lot of the jokes.
no, but I mean, also just even just keeping this in mind that this is said in 1996. The period is so well like recreated without really ever feeling like they're shoving it in our face. Like you could see like little product placement ads, like which I kind of miss like the old McDonald's cups. I did
Hmm.
realize that when I saw that, just that little detail, like oh yeah, that's what they look like. Shit, like 20 years
Yeah, they
ago.
don't look
Damn,
cool
like
anymore.
yeah, I mean, but it's little things like just seeing that stuff where, and it's not even like being fetishized or anything to like
It's
throw it in
part of
your
the
face.
scenery. Yeah,
It's just there. Like this could have been shot in 1996 for all I know. Like I
yeah.
mean, it really it's rare to like for me to see a period piece without like feeling like the period is being thrown in my face.
Well, I mean, I
You know what
would
I mean?
hardly consider it a period piece. Like it does take place in a different
But
period.
it is technically a period piece, and it is a
Yeah.
different time, and even though we're not that far removed from it, like a lot of stuff has changed.
Yeah. But
And
like those things aren't pivotal to the movie. I mean, they're still exchanging email addresses and stuff like that. Like it's not that far off. And the fact that David Foster Wallace, is anti TV and he doesn't have any like technology in his house, like I don't think that would have changed. But yeah,
well, yeah, but I mean, I gotta credit that. Like, I just bring that up because from a production design standpoint, and with the budget that they had to work with, like it might not seem like that big of a deal, but those are like little details that really do
it's
the film
probably
quite a
expensive to get those
service.
McDonald's cups. To be honest, like to
Like,
get
I don't
that
know.
stuff, like they probably had to pay like $100.
I don't know how that works. Like, do they contact McDonald's or stuff? Because they
I'm
gotta
sure
ask
there's
like to use the old
there's
material
probably
and
just
whatnot.
someone out there that has it.
I mean, well, I don't know. Like that's gotta cost money to use that too, or maybe
That's
they
what I'm
get
saying. Yeah,
assistance from McDonald's. Like,
who
who
knows?
knows what happens? maybe they were made on special
I
because I mean,
stayed
you know,
for the
those
credits.
cups looked
Yeah,
new. So
yeah. I stayed for the credits, and they said like with participation or thanks for the Golden Arches logo or whatever. So that was it's product placement. They still paid for it. I mean, McDonald's still paid for it. So I'm not sure.
yeah,
Diet
I
Right.
mean,
There's so much Diet Right in the movie. But yeah, it's like I texted my friend, the original co-host, and I told him like you have to watch this movie.
I mean, like it's such a good movie, dude. Like
Like
it's
it's
one of my favorite movies
if
of the
this was a
year,
real
easily.
review, I would very much so buy it for $1. It's
Very much,
worth
yeah. I
worth
mean,
$1 and then some.
like I can't, you know, it's like between this and Mad Max, like right now I'm at a point where my favorite movies of the year are tied.
And they're off.
Just
They're
because,
completely different.
I mean, that's why they're for like so very
Yeah.
different reasons. Like you know, I just can't like jump out and pick one because
Like I'd rather watch End of
one
the
hits me
Tour,
differently.
every couple of years, whereas I could watch Mad Max like every week.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like End of the Tour, it's like that's something where you like kind of watch it when you need it, and you know, for me with stuff that was going on in my life. I mean,
Pretty
part of that's
necessary.
probably like something that you know definitely affected you know my viewing, but it was something that I needed right at that moment.
It was
too. Like,
therapeutic.
with a couple of very big things that happened, it definitely I was able to calm down and reflect on a few things while I was watching it. So I really appreciate that. But you know, great movie. Like, yeah, I didn't mention that this was James Ponsoldt who did The Spectacular Now, which was my favorite movie of that year. But
Really good.
I
Coming of
mean,
age film.
yeah, yeah. He also did Smash, which is
Oh, that was great.
yeah, that's a really good movie.
That's
So
a
I mean,
scary movie.
really like you know the guy's made like three really damn good movies as far as I'm concerned. You know, he's probably I think at this point I can definitely safely say he's probably one of my favorite working directors and
Let's hope no one snatches
working
him
right
up
now.
to do the next Spider-Man or something.
well, he's got more than one movie under his belt. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. We'll see what he does, but
So yeah, besides End of the Tour, I didn't really watch anything else this week. No TV at all. Did go to LA Zoo, which was kind of cool. But have been playing a lot of the Call of Duty Black Ops 3 multiplayer beta, which is actually what I was doing right before recording, and I'm probably going to do it right after, which isn't that good, but, it's something to do. Killing people is fun, Go America.
I don't know because I don't play games anymore, bro.
Oh, that's good. I gave him up once, and then that didn't last that long. There's always someone enables you, or something that you kind of give up in life.
You know, I don't know why. I just have this kick to play like Nightfire, like right now.
What?
You know, 007 Nightfire.
Oh, that's really
Yeah,
old.
yeah. See, like every time I feel like I think video games now are a nostalgia thing because like I have my PS2 and it's like every time I think about playing a game, like you know, unless maybe it might be Halo or something on Xbox, like I do it now just out of nostalgia.
Well, I mean, I know you don't
Play
have
some Tony
an
Hawk Pro
Xbox
Skater.
Live account.
No, I do.
Xbox Gold?
No, not
No,
gold. Like I haven't
yeah.
updated, but that's how I use Live for HBO Go. I have to.
Yeah. Well, like I on my PlayStation, it's like you're in a group chat. And I got my two friends and we're talking, and we're not necessarily talking about the game. We're just talking, like we're hanging out and playing video games. And
Yeah, I'm aware of how that works.
yeah, so it's like we're at
I've done it.
I think I've talked about this before. It's like we're at an age now where you can't really find the time to meet up and hang out, and so that's the equivalent. That's what you got, and it's you don't have to use your phone minutes.
I don't know. See, I've yet to move away, so maybe that might be the only way to hang out. But I mean, or like one of my friends, like we've been talking about like maybe doing a podcast or like trying to get something going, some that might be different from what we're doing, or maybe I haven't fully explored this yet, but maybe merging it together and like expanding on that, seeing if some could work. And I mean, I realize that if that does work out, then what we're doing right now, that's going to be my excuse to hang out and bullshit about movies with some people.
And that's good though.
So that that's great, absolutely. And I don't know, like for games, yeah, I could absolutely see that working, but it's it is like, I mean, really when you think about it, it's just amazing how technology could keep us in contact by doing stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
I
So
mean, if a podcast ends up breaking big, then that's even more beneficial because then you can potentially make money off of hanging out.
yeah, we can dream, right? I mean,
That's the if only, but
look
yeah.
at fucking Smodcast. Kevin Smith makes way more money than that than his royalties for the movies and stuff. Has
Yeah, I
to.
mean,
Has to.
now when he
Fleshlight
makes
gave him so much
movies,
money back in the day.
I mean, now when he's making movies, it's only because he wants to, which,
Or he's
you know,
too stoned to
it's
do anything
good.
else.
Well, no, it's good that he's not selling out, I mean, like, I mildly enjoyed Cop Out, but, it's good to know
Speaking
that
of
I'm not going to
which,
get something that is not confidently made from him like
I
that.
watched the first half of Clerks last night. I was too tired to keep on watching, but it still holds up so well. Like, it's shot so well. I forgot how good it looks, even with the grain. Like, it looks really good. Some of the framing was really good. Like the opening gum cigarette guy. Like, they use the crowd and they move the camera through the crowd and they use like negative spacing. They have the whole gang like kind of cut out the rest of the shot besides Dante and whoever the pitchman is. And like then the camera moves and it's a different setup and it's like a different setup and it's like it looked so good. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, no, like it is a well shot movie, absolutely. Like I know Kevin Smith likes to down talk it, but obviously it's not fucking Citizen Kane, but like a good cinematography to me, like it's always about, focusing on your characters and, focusing on what's going on. And it's not like Clerks visually just confuses you ever.
Mm-hmm.
You always know what's happening. And I mean, that's when I'm shooting stuff, like I've never really been into, figuring out how to manipulate lights or whatever.
Yeah, the
and I'm
artsy
sure
fartsy stuff.
yeah, and a lot of people are going to go like, oh, well, no wonder why you fucking suck. But I'm always interested in making sure that the characters are in the frame, of getting them in the right moment. That's all I've ever cared about. And I've always shot stuff thinking more like an editor, of knowing like what beat I need to cut to next and what emotional beats I need to hit. And like that's always how I've done it. So I mean, maybe that's why I didn't work so well in film school, because I never had, I shoot fast like that because I know how to. I think in terms of cut, and I think of like where I got to jump to. I don't ever think of like, okay, let's set up all these lights for this shot and obsess over it. And I'm just like, we got this person right in front of us, this living, breathing thing ready to go. Like, there's no reason that this should be holding us back. We can do this shit in like 2 hours instead of spending an entire day. Let's go.
Well, having only seen one thing that you've shot, I don't think there's a problem with
You've
your
seen
technique.
quite a few. Yeah, I mean, like, well, for me, it works for me. I should get off my ass and do a bunch more stuff, but
It's hard.
I
To
mean,
do
like
that, so.
I'm pretty good at getting a lot of coverage within a short amount of time and finding a way to cut around with it. I'm confident with that anyway. I can't stand like all the other technical shit that gets in the way. Like for me, it's always it is like more about like the feeling that you get of the moving image, as opposed to like just making it look good. Like that's always what it's been about with me.
Well, maybe I'll have to send you my script when I finish it. You can figure out how to shoot it.
No, it's not that hard. Like I think of
Shoestring
this
budget.
stuff. I think of this stuff on the fly too. But like I know, like if I thought about it longer, I could think of like shots specifically that like visually say something instead of I don't know,
Rest on the story.
Like, looking like something that like is pretty standard. Like, but I mean, yeah, it's always about mood with me, and like I usually I trust like if you get the right actors, then and they know you talk about the character and the story, then you'll get the performance that you need, and you can't obsess over that on set because you know that you're going to edit it later and you're going to find a way to make it work.
I kind of
I don't know why I'm talking about this shit
just
right now.
because
Like,
I kind of like when I finish my
yeah.
script, I want to, or maybe before I finish, I want to start another one where I write it myself into it. Like I want to make a script with me in mind, just because, like, because I know I can act. Like I've done it before, not on camera, not necessarily, but like I know I have the ability, and it's not something that I'm readily wanting to do because I know it's a pain in the ass to remember lines.
Everyone's got the ability. I mean, for me, I think
Not
if
really.
I'm,
There's some people that can't hold a lie, and if you can't lie,
I don't know.
You can't make some. I don't know.
I don't know if I can. I feel like I could, but it depends on what I'm doing too. like if I'm working on like some of my own stuff, and like I'm being honest with myself, then I feel like I could do that. It's not like I got range where I could play, I don't know, German terrorist, whatever, convincingly, or
I think you could do that.
Yeah, it's not like I could play Red Skull.
Well, no, not
No.
that far. That's a stretch. But you could definitely play Paul Dano.
All right, I
Has
not
anyone
what I
ever
thought, but I'll take.
Anyone ever told you that?
I get different ones all the time.
No, I think
Like,
it's Paul
I
Dano.
I've gotten Shia LaBeouf. I even
That's
one
off.
person.
That's way off.
Well, a lot of people would disagree with you.
They're crazy.
I mean, hey, I talk really fast too, like especially on these podcasts. Like I'm a pain in the ass to edit for because I just go into the next sentence like real quick right away. You're good to edit for. Like it's easier. Like if I got to cut like a specific word out or something that you flub, then it's easier to pick it out. Me, I'm just like speeding through it all. It's tough to find a cutting point.
I'm not fast. I'm just quick. Like I have a good tempo.
Yeah, no, it's easy. It's good to cut for you. Like, thank God. I hate editing this stuff for myself because I'm like,
It's
like,
hard to
there
edit
is-
yourself. It's really
there's
hard.
no space. Like, when I'm on Pro Tools and I got to cut out a certain word, it's like they're so close together that you can't find a way to cut it out without it, hearing the cut.
Mm-hmm. I kind of,
It's impossible.
to be honest, I haven't cut anything since the Jurassic World review. I kind of miss it. It's definitely a pain in the ass and it takes way too long, but it feels really good when you take a sentence that was shit and then you turn it into something that sounds really nice.
Yeah, well, 6 weeks from now you're gonna have to do it because I'm gonna have to.
When you're moving?
I'm not gonna have a quiet place to do it. I'm gonna have to review off my phone too.
Oh,
So
wow.
That's probably how we're gonna have to do it for at least like 1 week. maybe
Seriously?
2. Yeah, seriously.
You can't just use your phone as a mobile hotspot and use your computer?
I don't know. I mean, I have no idea where. That's just something that could potentially happen. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Might have to go low tech for a little bit.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I think we expanded our options. I know you have to go do something.
Wow, that went by fast.
Yeah. I mean, you're a little
Wow,
over,
okay.
actually. But thanks for listening. We're going to be back who knows when. I'm kind of not sure exactly when the next time I'm going to see a movie. But definitely a week from now at the latest. So
Well, you want to see We Are Your Friends, right?
yeah, I don't know why
I mean,
I want
that is-
to. I know
No,
I know
I
how
know.
it's going to end. I know what the movie's going to be.
I don't know.
I-
I don't know what
I-
way they're gonna go.
I want to see it because I like the titular song. Like that, if you don't know the song, it was by Simian, the band Simian before they became Simian Mobile Disco. It was a collaboration between them and Justice before they released an album. And it's still a club banger. It came out like 2005, and it was the first incident when Kanye had a "I'ma Let You Finish" thing, and it happened at the MTV Video Music Awards, the European version. But it's a great song, and I've listened to it since high school, and so that alone made me interested in the film. But yeah, I think it's to quote what's his name, High School Musical. He said that it's this Zac Efron. He says this generation's Saturday Night Fever, which I can see through the trailer. So looking forward to it.
All right. Yeah, I hope to see it. I don't know. We'll see when we can do that. I guess that all depends on you, huh?
Well, not on me, but yeah.
That depends on your end.
Yeah. But yeah, you know how to reach us. Tweet us at $Views, which I promise is going to become more active.
Okay.
Additionally, you can also find us on Facebook. Once again, $Views. Send us some hate mail or some love letters. $.review@gmail.com.
And you can find me on Twitter at @s_mtx. And that's about it. As always, my film diary is also on Letterboxd. It's the same thing, _mtx.
Thanks for listening.